Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Juice and Jerry podcast. We are back from the holidays and we have a special guest today. She's a realtor in Toronto, very smart lady, and she actually happens to be my cousin, Sandra. Let's welcome her to the show. Yay.
Hi.
Thank you so much for joining us today. We have so many topics to cover today because we've been away for a while and there's been insane amounts of things that have happened since the new year has started.
Mm-hmm.
So
can you name a few? Because there's a lot.
Pardon?
There's a lot that happened.
There's a lot. I don't know. I mean, I think we all kind of knew. Like, we're all, we had some trepidation going into 2024. We didn't want to be like, yay, it's going to be a great year. Everyone was like,
I think after COVID, no one's trying to predict what the next year is going to be like.
Yeah, everybody's scared. We've all been traumatized by COVID.
No, I was going to say, like, a lot of people, I don't even hear about New Year's resolutions anymore. Like, right now, I haven't really heard anyone say, oh, my New Year's resolution is this. Like,
no, it's such a scam. What's a New Year's resolution? Like,
no, but I'm saying, like, we're realizing that in 2024 that it's literally bogus.
No, I think we just have grown up. Like, when you're like 16, you're like, yay, New Year's resolutions. Like, I'm going to quit smoking and smoke 5 packs tonight, like ridiculous stuff like that. And then I think as you grow up, you just mature and you realize you don't have to wait for the new year to like do anything or work on yourself.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's an age thing. I think when you're younger, you're more likely to set resolutions. When you're older, you're more, I don't know. You don't think about it that way, maybe. You don't look at time the same way.
You realize you're going to stay crappy forever.
You know what I do though? I think I told you guys before that I divide my, when I do, not resolutions, but like sort of almost like a journaling, but it's nice when you do it and you look back on the years before. Like I can go back and look on like, what was I thinking? Like what was my headspace in 2020, 2021, 2022?
Can you remember what you were like then? Like, can you go back to 2022, Shanika, and remember how you were thinking?
No, but when I look at the journal entries and be like, there's a pattern. Because it's not like something that I look at through the whole year, right? But then when New Year's comes around and I look back at what I wrote, I was like, oh, there's a pattern.
So that was what I was going to ask you. Do you do it at the beginning of the year or at the end of the year?
Well, it's either on the, the 1st or the 31st or the week leading up. Yeah.
So you're doing like a review of the past year.
Yeah. So I do a review of the past year and then like the kind of year ahead.
That's really nice.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's a way to reflect on things and like and how you can improve. Like look at ways you can improve.
There's like certain things that I wanted to do. Like what was 2023 Shanika wanting to do in 2023? And did I actually do any of it? And like I might not be able to cross it off, but I could be like, okay, maybe I made some improvements in this area, or I've grown a little bit in this area. Maybe I haven't achieved what I wanted to, but I'm like a little step further closer to what I want to do.
That's a nice way of looking at it. That's great.
Mm-hmm.
Our grandmother, Maureen and I's grandmother, used to journal every day, everything that would happen and what she was thinking. Which was yeah, Maureen has them.
How long do you keep a journal for?
Years.
Wow.
Like multiple journals. I have a bag full of journals.
No, but starting from when did she start keeping a journal?
As long as she could write.
That is amazing.
Like to the point where like if you wanted to bring up something that happened in the past, she could be like, oh, you know what? I actually wrote about it. I could tell you what happened on this day.
That is so cool. Have you read them? Is it in Arabic? Sorry.
It's in Arabic. Yeah.
Oh, you better.
But I have them. They're in my basement. I have like bags of journals.
But I think that trains your brain too. Like to constantly, because when you're writing what happened, you're reflecting every single day on all the things that you can remember or that you find important to remember. And I think that's why she lived a very long life. Her brain was very sharp, like smarter than anybody I know. And I think that's a big part of it.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that.
That's amazing. And I like the idea of having her journals. Like that's like a family heirloom now.
Mm-hmm. I tried to journal. I got about like a week in and then I dropped off. I'm so like not good at doing anything that requires any kind of organization. Like organized thinking, my brain is just it's such a struggle.
Do you make lists?
No. Lists of what?
Or like, do you put appointments on your phone? Do you
When
write down things?
not everything, but yes, I do put most of my appointments, if I can remember to put them, I put them on my phone.
Yeah.
I do that because my memory sucks. Yeah.
Maureen, I wanted to say, like, you may not be journaling, but you're actually documenting your life, like through your online stuff. Like that's all recorded information. So you're doing something quite amazing. So your life is actually documented.
Yeah, it's 2024 journaling.
It's really awesome. Sorry, this is side note. I was thinking about this the other day. Instagram, like people actually, it's like a whole reality show. Like I'm actually watching a few people's reality show. I know what they had for dinner. I know what they had for, and I'm like, wait a minute. I feel like I know this person, like as if I'm watching the Kardashians. Instagram is like document your life and everything you do.
I'm not able to do that yet. Like I always tell myself, you know what? I'm going to start documenting more. But then I'm like, who cares? And then I think about all the people I follow. I didn't care about them at first, but now like I kind of want to see, are they going to work out today? You know, what are they going to wear?
Nobody wants to admit.
That's the reality show we're watching.
Yes. That's what no one wants to admit, is that we all like to watch each other. And everyone, it's true. Like, oh, nobody cares about what you're doing. Nobody cares what you're doing. You're right. But eventually people do care because people are voyeuristic in nature. Like we like to watch what other people are doing and how they're living their lives and we like to compare ourselves and learn from them and like figure out. And a lot of times, most of the people that you follow are people that you feel you could be friends with in real life.
Yes. Yeah.
That's what it is. Yeah, you're like, oh, I like this person. I could see myself like hanging out with them in real life. Like I can relate to them. I get them. Yeah, and that's what it is.
You know who I don't follow on Instagram? Any of the Kardashians.
Me neither.
I will say this. I think it's useless to kind of follow the Kardashians. I think it's all for it's just marketing for them. Yeah. The only person that I think would be a good person to follow is Khloe, and on Snapchat. She shows a big part of her life. I think it's actually real. But Kim, that's all like, hey, I'm taking these pictures because I'm like promoting this. That's all it is. It's not like.
In fact, most celebrities use their Instagrams as marketing ploys for them. Like they're not usually showing their actual life on there. Most of them don't. Yeah,
they don't.
Yeah,
and I'm sure they have other Instagrams that they actually do show, but they don't share with the public.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that. Speaking of what? Yeah, secret accounts. Speaking of celebrities, have you guys heard about the release of the Epstein Island list? And I want to talk about who surprised you to be on that list or not on that list.
I'm going to name a couple of names on the list. Have you?
Yes. First of
all, because I didn't go through all of that.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm going to give you a couple of the names.
Wait. Before you give me the names, where are you reading this from?
This is from a UK article, but this is the same list that I've seen all around. And you know what? At the end of the day, we don't actually know if this is like if this list is the real list. Okay. Yep. And just keep in mind, I always say this, like even though they may have went to his island, it doesn't necessarily mean that they engaged in any kind of inappropriate behavior. Just saying, we don't know this.
Yeah.
Okay. And apparently there's other celebrities that are on the list that have paid to get their names off the list. I don't know who those people would be because there's such big names on this list that like who, you know what I mean? Like who would have paid to get their name off the list? But Prince Andrew, Duke of York, is the second son of Queen Elizabeth II. He's on the list. Bill Clinton, which I'm not surprised.
Like, is anybody surprised?
Yeah.
Hillary Clinton, Donald Trump, David Copperfield. I hate to say this name, but Leonardo DiCaprio, but it is what it is. Al Gore.
You surprised though? The guy whose dates like $1 million.
Yeah, I'm not really surprised, but it's just I don't want him in a bad light, you know? But Stephen Hawking, Michael Jackson, George Lucas, Naomi Campbell. Yeah, Cameron Diaz. I'm I'm pretty
And
sure
like
like I saw like Jay-Z, Beyonce. So these are pretty like big names. Like,
but you know what? Celebrities are like, he was like filthy rich, and he was a huge
people used to go
businessman.
there have fun.
And the way he got rich also is by being so connected. And so that doesn't mean much to me. Like, I would like to know more details about that. I haven't looked at the actual list yet, but it just seems like we need to know more. Like, someone needs to give us a summary about who did what, who was just a victim, and who was just like a high profile person that he knew.
Who just went there to party. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, we don't know what these people actually did. So it's and that's why this list doesn't mean much. That's why it wasn't like, oh my gosh, this person's a pedophile. That like it's not like that.
Well, I know that some people were like, what's his name? The scientist guy who's in a wheelchair.
Stephen Hawking.
What?
Stephen Hawking.
So there were in the documents, somebody allegedly said that. I go back for laughing at this.
Is this true though, Maureen? Is it true? Is it true? Because Six Buzz posted something like that, and I couldn't verify it.
I think
this is what it was written in the documents. This is not what I'm saying. This is alleged. I don't know if this is true, but they basically said that Stephen Hawking liked to watch midgets do math equations or something
while trying to reach for the blackboard, like
naked, try to do math equations.
Like, I think that has to be something somebody made up.
Joke. It's got to be a sick joke.
I think it's a joke. Like, unless you personally read that transcript.
I saw a screenshot of
but
I mean, that could be faked.
You know, the problem with AI now is you have no idea what's real, what's fake. You have no idea. And
he's not here to defend himself. He passed away, so he's not here to defend himself. So I don't know if that's true or not.
I think it's supposed to be just a big joke. That's what I think.
But that's not I mean, it is a little funny, but it's a little weird. And it's like, okay, here's the thing though. Here's the thing. We know that at Epstein Island, it was a private island. And we know for a fact that there were young girls there that were exploited sexually. Okay, so this is not in question. We know that this has happened.
But that doesn't mean they were there every single time he traveled and brought people.
True. However, we know that this happened. So is it out of the question that these celebrities partook in this? I don't think that's too far-fetched. Now, can we say like, oh, they're all guilty because of this? No, obviously no. They didn't all do this. But in a scenario where it's well known that the trafficking rings are mostly rich, high-profile people who can afford these private places where they keep and hide young women or young men, whatever, and do all of this in secret. And like, it's not poor people who are doing this. It's people who have the money to hide it. So I'm not saying all these celebrities did it. I'm just saying, I don't think, like, looking at the moral standard in Hollywood, I wouldn't be surprised if any of them were involved, if that makes any sense. Unfortunately.
Yeah. Sad but true. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, but I also think he knew his audience. Like, you bring Bill Clinton, there's a party. Like, I think that's hard. Don't sue me, Bill Clinton. But I'm just saying, like some things, unfortunately, you just expect it. But I would think if he was with like Stephen Hawking, how do you even like bring that up? Hey, do you want to see a bunch of midgets? Like, I don't think.
I mean, Stephen Hawking can talk.
Yeah, but that's not what I mean. I mean, how could you bring that up? How does that conversation even get started?
Well, I don't know the answer to that, but I mean, it's Shanika's having some technical issues. I don't know the answer to that, but I think that it's not so far-fetched that it couldn't happen. Like, I don't think if Stephen Hawking had some sexual desire, sexual preference, it's possible. And I also think that the more available sex is cheap, the more perverted it becomes over time. That's what I think. Yeah.
I think we need to correct ourselves for using the word midget. I feel like
Well,
that's
that's what
just
the text says. That's not what I said.
yeah.
That is literally what the text said.
Yeah.
I don't say that. I don't.
I think
use
they're
that
called little
word.
people. I think
They are called
That is what they are called.
Yeah.
That is what they're called.
Yeah.
That's exactly what they're called. I didn't use. That is not what I call them. That is. I'm just quoting what the text exactly said. I don't call them that. I have no disrespect for little people. They're fantastic. I would never want to disrespect them. I want to add also that Michael Jackson, but Michael Jackson, the person who in the documents, they said he was there, but he didn't accept any massages. So to me, I was happy to hear that because I love Michael Jackson and I'm so sick of people defaming him. But yeah. Anyway, okay. We're going to move on from Michael Jackson. We're going to talk about another creature who's almost mystical in nature or supernatural, which is aliens. Okay, we're going to talk about aliens. And there's been this thing on New Year's Day in Miami. There was some sort of huge brawl that happened at Miami Mall with some kids. Allegedly, this is all alleged. Everything is kind of like, we don't know exactly. There's no actual footage of anything. So, well, there isn't any clear footage that we can say for sure it is what it is of anything. So there's no clear footage of the brawl. There's no clear footage of it. The only thing we do have clear footage of is a line of cop cars. Literally all the police in Miami, I heard, were at the mall on New Year's Eve. So there was a brawl and some kids were fighting and everyone kind of started to run or something.
They launched a bunch of fireworks.
That's what they say. Again, I don't know.
That's what the police says. That's what the police came out and gave a statement saying that they were told, they got a call. People thought that it was like a mass shooting.
But the story changed because the first time I heard the story, they said 5 young people. Then the next time I heard the police tell the story, like in a different news report, they said 50 young people. And then
I think 5 got arrested. News
report, I heard 15 people. So it's always a 5, but it gets changed. But that's neither here nor there. So a bunch of young people. That's all you need to know.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when this happened, all of these allegations came out around the same time that people in the mall saw these tall 8-foot shadowy figures. Some people refer to them as aliens. Some people said they're creatures. We don't know what they are. But there was a lot of people who said they saw some sort of creatures. They describe them as dark, ominous figures, 8 to 10 feet tall. They say there's 3 of them. And they say they kind of just was standing there very like no expression. And people saw them and then they started to walk. And that's when everyone started to run. That's what I'm hearing from people online. Again, we don't know. There's no documentation of any of this. There's no nothing. Now, when people are asking, well, if it's a full mall, why doesn't anyone have any camera? Where's the CCTV camera? How come they don't release the CCTV footage? How come they don't? And I'm hearing a lot of stuff about that too. Some people are saying, well, there was a blackout during this that happened. So I don't know. And other people are saying, no, when we were running out of the mall, the police, 2 different people said this. 2 different accounts I heard say this. When we're running out of the mall, the police stopped us and we're checking our phones to see what we saw. They're asking us what we saw, what happened. And they were erasing anything that was suspicious.
What?
That's what they're saying. Yes, they say that.
Things?
Wait, to add to this.
I don't believe that.
I don't believe that either.
Because I don't know.
How many people were at the mall? How many people were there?
So this is what they say.
People's phones?
No. So this is what they say. So they say that they were trying to stop everybody who is exiting the mall and check their phones. Like they're taking them aside to check them and ask them what happened. But obviously they couldn't stop everyone. So they just stopped a bunch of people. I don't know. This is what they say. Again, this is not what I say. This is what they say. Yeah. The other part that was interesting to this story is there was another video that I came across on TikTok of a guy whose dad is a police in Miami.
That one.
And not only is his dad a police in Miami, his dad was running for sheriff or something like that in Miami. So he calls his dad and he goes, and he has this recorded. Again, because this is recorded, you can't really tell if it's real or if it's not. You don't know you don't know. But this is what happened in the video. He calls his dad. His dad doesn't know that he's being recorded. And he's like, hey, what's going on? I'm seeing all these cops downtown. What's happening right now? And they're saying it's aliens. And his dad goes, I can't talk about it. And he's like, what do you mean? Like, you can't tell me anything? Is that the dad did not deny the allegations. He just said he can't talk about them. So that was also an interesting video that surfaced. So, I mean, I don't know. And there's also the question of like, why were all the police in Miami on New Year's Eve? Shouldn't they be out checking like it's New Year's Eve?
New Year's Day, not New Year's Eve.
New Year's Day. Okay, but it was nighttime. So I assumed that it was New Year's Eve turning to New Year's Day. No?
Everything I read said New Year's Day. I read really quickly, by the way, because I knew you wanted to bring this up and I did not hear about this at all.
I thought it was like New Year's Day at like 3 a.m. Like, so New Year's Eve to New Year's Day. Hence the fireworks.
Maybe. You could be right. I don't know.
I'm not sure.
I wouldn't be able to tell you because anytime I try to watch those videos, I can't tell what's going on. Like it's like it's not clear. And to be honest with you, I think that because there were so many people there to witness it, it would have been very clear. Everybody has a phone. If it really happened, we would have seen it really clearly. That's just my take on it.
Do you believe in aliens?
What do you mean by that?
What else could I mean by that?
When you say aliens, what are you referring to? Beings from other planets?
Like aliens, however, you can define alien. Do you want to define alien for us?
I don't believe in beings from other planets. I don't believe that. Okay. I believe that there are interdimensional creatures that live on this planet.
You would call what?
I would call them either they're descendants of fallen angels, descendants of Nephilim, things that the Bible talks about. And I think they've always been here. And I just think that people think they're aliens from another planet, but that doesn't make as much sense to me as them being from here does.
Okay. So what do you think happened in the mall? What do you think that creature was?
I don't know if there was a creature in the mall. God knows. I don't know what happened there. I don't know if people are just, I don't know. They obviously saw something because where did that come from? But it could have been anything. I don't know what that is.
When I was searching for this today, like the 10 minutes before we started this, there's an explanation that says it was 3 people walking really close together, and that's why the footage kind of looks like one big person.
Outside, right?
Yeah, I just think like this whole thing with aliens, just like Sasquatch and, you know, Yetis and all that, if it was there, I think we would all know, like, why would the government or anybody be trying to hide that from us, but not hide like that dinosaurs existed? Like, well, what is the...
They wouldn't hide it. They're scared too. They want everybody to know. They'll be scared too.
Yeah, I guess, like, I don't see the goal if there are aliens and this whole conspiracy around the government trying to hide it. Maybe I'm naive in that. I don't know enough, and I don't really understand the purpose there. I just feel like if there was that, especially today with like social media, with our access to our phones, we would know.
We were talking about this and we're saying basically that this doesn't affect our daily life or doesn't change very much of our daily life, which I absolutely agree with. And on that note, what is starting to affect our daily life is the housing market, the cost of living, all of that. And we're starting to see that more and more in Toronto. And in fact, there's been a few reports that people are actually choosing to live in hotels because it's actually cheaper than renting a 1-bedroom like apartment or condo in the city. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to know, Sandra, because you're a realtor, what do you think about all of this? Do you think this is a trend that's going to continue?
I do. Unfortunately, I do. When we're talking about the market, like you have to take like every pocket, like you have to consider every pocket on its own, like saying the market. But I'm guessing these people are downtown, from what I understood from the reporter in Toronto. And they found a hotel that they can rent for the month for $2,000. And I believe it was $1,800 before, and they put the price up to $2,000. And as you guys know, to rent an average 1-bedroom in Toronto is like much more than that, like 2,600, sometimes more, sometimes a little less, depending where in Toronto. But I mean, it makes sense because this hotel in particular had a gym. They didn't have the daily room cleaning. They had it weekly. But if you think they had Wi-Fi, they had free parking.
Was there breakfast in the morning?
No, they didn't say that. That would be pretty cool.
Because
I was trying to think, like, what hotel can you even get for less than $100? Even $100 a night is like pretty impossible. Like maybe during the week, but on the weekend. But they're renting them at. So the owner said he started this in COVID and he started renting it by the month, which makes sense for many reasons. If you have ever tried to rent in the past, you know that landlords are basically, they are looking at every part of you. They want to know everything about your like employment record, your credit scores, not just your credit scores, your credit reports. They want to know about your history, do you smoke? Do you have a pet? It's really kind of like invasive. It feels invasive if you're new to this. And like, unfortunately, landlords too have gotten really burned with some tenants. So sometimes the smallest thing will just make them reject the tenant. But with this, you don't have to go through that. You get to bypass all of that. You just get to pay and be there. But also, the downside is there's no guarantee that the next month you'll have a place to live. So I understand for people who are here like on job contracts maybe, or like short term, or aren't too sure what they're going to do, why this would be appealing to not have to go through all of that, especially if you don't know if you're going to be here for the long run, or like maybe your company's planning to relocate somewhere else in the GTA or in the province. But I mean, it's tough out there. It's tough out there. Like I mostly work with landlords when I'm doing rentals, and it's hard. Everybody wants to make sure that they get the best tenant. And
I also heard that like a lot of cities, like I don't remember what city was in the US that I heard was doing this, but I heard about a lot of cities now starting to crack down on like Airbnbs, and some cities are even like completely banning the entire city. Some of them are banning the Airbnb idea or the Airbnb industry, I guess, because of housing, because they're having housing issues, right? Which I guess makes sense, because if you have units available and you're doing it this way where sometimes there's nobody in them for long periods of time, or I don't know, I get it, but I also don't get it.
We have a housing shortage. Like our supply right now is, even though like people are talking about the market slow, this and that, our immigration has always been really high. We don't have much else where we can really build, that's also kind of limited. And how much we can build and how quickly we can build. It's never gonna keep up with the pace of the people who need housing. And so we're always going to have a supply shortage. And I think the government's just trying to do everything it can to make sure that people, first of all, still want to come here to Toronto, to the GTA, to Ontario, and to make it slightly more fair, even though I'm sure a lot of people would disagree that it's not fair. But I see both sides of it, because if you own a property, who's the government to tell you what to do with your own property? You know what I mean? So there's that side of it as well. So it depends who you're talking to. I mean, everyone's angry, if that helps. Tenants are angry, landlords are angry. Everyone's angry.
I find it interesting because there's a condo on every corner. Like I go to my parents' old area in Scarborough. I'm like, they're building a condo here. They're building townhouses. Like they're getting, like homes up, but it's just that, I don't know, like you said,
it's not enough. Yeah, it's not enough.
And then the homeless crisis is like, it's like you see homeless people in places you haven't seen them before. Like I know in Durham, like in Ajax, there's a whole plaza where homeless people have encampments. And that is new. That's like within the last year. So what's happening? I do think that they're probably coming out of Toronto and into Durham, but like it's just, I don't know.
I think sad. Also I know I don't want to say who, but somebody was telling me that there is a big, pretty much like immigration crisis going on in the US that's trickling into Canada. And the numbers are staggering. The numbers were like 300,000 like illegal or refugee, or I don't know what the term was, if it was either refugee or illegal. I think it's illegal. People are coming into the US a month. 300,000, to the point that they're busing them to like New York, and then New York is trying to push them into Canada because it's just New York.
I'm not anti-immigration.
That's been happening for a while, by the way. They've been coming. There was a border. I think
crisis.
It was, they would come through. I don't know if it's Montreal.
When you say a while, what do you mean?
Oh, because I was like over 2 years. Like that's what I mean by a while. Like people are coming here illegally. So there's like they know there's a crossing between the States and Canada, and they just go. They know where to go, and once they hit, they touch Canadian land, they claim refugee, and that's Canadian soil. They claim refugee, and that's within their rights. They know exactly what to do, but
but there's no housing for them here. That's the problem.
But that's not like everybody wants to make it seem like they could fix it. Like there's one thing that's contributing to the problem. It's not one thing. It's not like, okay, let's deal with people illegally coming here and we could fix the housing problem. It's not going to happen. There's too many moving parts. And like the GTA is a very in-demand place. Like a lot of people, like, look at us. We all wanted to be in Toronto. Like our families wanted to be in Toronto. So there's no one easy fix. I just do not see like house prices going down to what people would consider affordable. Like you want to knock off $500,000 from the price of a detached home, it is still not considered to be affordable, you know? And I think every like 10, 15 years, we go through this. We start talking about it's too unaffordable. How are our kids going to buy? But people kind of.
But statistically now, I was watching something about the statistics of, like in like the 80s or 70s, how much people were making versus how much it would cost them to purchase a home. And the numbers are staggeringly different, like not just a little bit different. It's like 700%, like that the difference was something like that. So like in the 80s or 70s, I can't remember what time period they were looking at, that it would take you like, I think it would take 2 to 5 years to save up the down payment for a home. Wow. Whereas now with the average like person making, let's say the average person is not making over 100,000. The average person is making like $60,000 a month, a year. Sorry, a month. I wish a year. And so for them to save up the down payment for a home, it would take them like 10 years, 20 years, some stupid amount of time like that. So like, what's the point at that point?
Well, it's going to be generational wealth that's going to help people buy homes.
But the thing is that people are actually spending money on foolish things, a lot of money on foolish things. Have you guys
Tiana, why can I only see half your face?
Oh, sorry.
There we go.
I started leaning. Okay. Have you guys heard about the Stanley Cup? Like those Stanley Cups, like sort of similar
the
to
ones like this, but that have a Stanley.
Okay, when you say Stanley Cup, every Canadian is going to think you're talking about hockey. Yeah.
No, I should say Stanley mug or whatever, but it's actually the Stanley
water.
The water cup that is apparently like amazing. But over the holidays, I actually saw some TikTok videos of young girls, let's say like 13 years old or something like that, getting Stanley Cups for Christmas. And they were like, it was like amazing to them. Like they were opening up the gift, it was a Stanley Cup, and it was like the best thing in the world. And it blows you away because it's like, wait, this is just like a water cup. Why are people going crazy over it?
And
but
it's
more about
expensive for what it is.
I think they're, there's different colors. But I think they go for about $50, like 49 something. But it's all about like status, like having a Stanley Cup. That's what this is. Even with the super puff jackets, like from Aritzia, that's a status thing.
Or the oversized. Do you know, I've been trying to find this, like I'm looking for like an overcoat, like a really long, nice wool coat.
Aritzia.
And everything is the pregnant style, the one like, like that's just big like this. Like it all goes
Straight?
out. No, it's not even straight. They all go out around your stomach. Like it's this like very oversized look. And I don't want to invest or purchase something like that for a trend that I know is going to go away pretty soon. Like I want to get something that's going to be there for like the next decade.
Yep. I don't know what jackets you're talking about, if it's the wool coats that like Aritzia has and like Zara
and Dynamite.
Oh really? Okay, I haven't seen it, but yeah.
I tried on like every coat at Dynamite, and I like it was to the point where I tried an extra small and it was too big, and I was like, come on. Like,
but that's the style. That's what it is. And so we're all trying to follow these trends and keep up with the Joneses. And
yeah, for like $20-$50. I'm not spending $200 on a coat.
Yeah,
that's gonna go out of style a little bit.
Like. But yeah, Stanley Cups are it. It's it symbolizes status, like sorry, I just want to mention this one other thing. Have you guys heard of the mob wife? Mob wife.
The very furry, big furry, gaudy kind of.
I love it. It sounds crazy, but I feel like I've been waiting my whole life for this trend to come.
So are you gonna buy it?
I have a fur coat in my closet that my husband got me a couple years back, and I feel like.
What are you guys talking about? Can you explain to the audience, because I don't know what you're talking about?
All right, imagine a mob wife walking around in winter.
Sopranos, like she would have like that faux fur or a real fur jacket.
The whole jacket is fur, or just the trim?
No,
the whole thing.
Yep. Long jacket, leopard print. I don't wear leopard print, but that's also a part of it.
But, so basically just a fur coat, of like a fancy looking fur coat.
Yes. So apparently that style is in that like clean girl look, which I was trying to look up the clean girl look, but I feel like it's like bodysuits and like the super puff jacket.
It's a made up thing. It's a made up thing.
It's totally made up, that things that we're following, but
it just means like no frills.
I feel like very old right now because I haven't heard of a single one of these things. Like the puffer jacket, the whatever jacket, all of these things I've never heard of.
Oh, by the way, I tried on one of those super puffy bomber jackets, like the ones with the bubbles, and I just looked like a penguin. And like it was just so, and it was like this thick, literally.
It's not for everyone.
Wait, no, like the 90s jackets, like the 90s puffer jackets?
Like the 90s jackets on like Super Puff.
Okay, Super Puff is like the Aritzia brand, just so you know. It's called Super Puff, literally.
Oh, is it? I didn't know.
I need to Google this.
Yeah. I don't like walking into Aritzia. I feel very old. I'm very aware of my age. And I like, as I'm walking in, I'm like, wow, I feel like I'm one of those, when you were younger and you would see like a 50-year-old mom who's trying so hard to be cool. That's what I felt like.
No, Sandra. No. That's not what you look like. No, not at all.
But like, why are 13, 14-year-olds dictating the trends? That's where my problem is.
That's how it's always been.
No, we were not dictating trends. We were following trends that like Aaliyah, like what Aaliyah was wearing, things like that. We were following like trends we saw on like BET.
Regardless, it's young people dictating it.
Aaliyah was 16 when she came on the scene.
Yeah, but she was famous. What 15, 16-year-old famous people now are making these trends?
Yeah, like the YouTubers, the influencers. They're the ones.
That's true. It's the TikTokers. Those people. That's who are.
They're the new Aaliyahs.
They're the new celebrities.
They're the influencers. Mm-hmm. I also want to mention. I'm not sure if you guys have heard. Like a lot of younger girls, like teens, are at Sephora getting skincare products. Like skincare is huge, and they're getting all these products that they probably don't need until they're closer to like our age, right?
They're like making a joke out of it because
but they're still using it. They're getting all of these expensive products, and
where is the money coming from? Like, when I was young, when I was 13, 14, the stuff I was interested in, or like that I would dream of being able to do, was not at all at this level. Like,
I know.
It was maybe buying like a $7 nail polish, like something like small like that. I'm just so mind blown at how this younger generation makes us sound super old, but has like, so maybe it's not them who has the money, it's the parents, but like they are dressed in like better brands than we're wearing, you know? It's just like with their Marc Jacobs bags and like, I just don't understand, where is this coming from and how are so many parents able to afford that? Like, you have more than one girl. How are you going to be able to afford that?
They're making it happen. Honestly, I think like millennial parents are earning more, I believe, right? And so they're able to spend more on their kids, or they do spend more on their kids. Before it used to be like, okay, well, let me put this towards this. They're just spending more on their kids because their kids are more demanding. Like, you know, and I will just say this, my son, when he was in kindergarten, he was talking about wearing Jordans and this and that. I'm like, wait, what? But like, I mean, he was 5 or he was 4. Why would you ask me about Jordans? Like, this is an expensive brand. It's whatever their friends are wearing at school. And yeah, so we're spending
I think
a lot
for
more
the
on
girls specifically, what it has to do with is that they're part of a group of friends, and bullying right now is like really bad. And so parents are trying to do whatever they can to kind of prevent that or not have their kids feel left out. I think maybe that's where it could be coming from.
quite possible. Yep.
I think also because of the influencer culture and so much exposition to social media, that kids are seeing things that they're thinking is normal. For example, like you were talking about the skincare, and I was trying to find it right now. There's a girl who blew up on TikTok. She's maybe now she's like a 12 or 11. She's insanely rich, and she does like a 20-step skincare on camera. And seems to be normal now. This like 10-step skincare. Like, it's very normal for people
Skincare is huge right now.
like 10 steps of skincare. Young girls. I'm talking about like 10-year-olds. Okay. And I'm not knocking it. I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with taking care of your skin when you're young.
But that's not taking care of your skin. That's actually literally a kid trying to understand skincare and then making a bunch of people follow what they're doing. And it could actually do, like, it's unnecessary. It's expensive. It could do more damage.
And they're using expensive brands, and you know how expensive skincare can be, right?
Yeah.
I don't do anywhere near that much skincare, not even close. And I'm going to be 40 this year. So I think but I don't want to bash anyone for doing that. I just want, maybe they just need a little bit better education or more like of a reality check. But like for my daughter herself, she likes to play like that. She sees other people do that. So then she's like, oh, mommy, I have to do my morning routine. I have to do my nighttime routine.
Yeah,
and she doesn't know what she's doing. She doesn't. She'll just find my cream and and I have to tell her, use this one, don't use this one. Because some of them are strong and they'll like irritate her skin, right? So, but I think use clean, use whatever. But
speaking of skincare, though, I follow this guy that I love named Maximum Skin. That's what I was looking for. Okay. And he has changed my entire perspective. Not just him. There's a few other there's a chemist that I follow, but like this idea of a 10-step routine, skincare routine has got to go. You do not need that. First of all, what do you think's happening when you're just adding things on top of each other? It's not doing what you think it's just making you feel like, oh, I spent so much, like a workout, you know, like I spent so much time on my skin. You probably have the same skin if you cut it down to like a 3-step routine.
Okay, so Sandra, in your opinion, because I know you know a lot about skincare products, what are like the top 3 skincare products you should have? Like I'm obviously going to say that you should be using a sunscreen, absolutely,
1000%.
Winter, whenever.
Inside, indoor, outdoor, rain or shine. Like, I think that's one. I'm not a skincare expert, but like, I know okay, wash your face. Okay, I'm not a skincare expert. Let's get that out of the way, because I hate when people on like Instagram, like influencers, pretend like, oh, this is what I do and this is great and everybody should do this. That's just let's leave that to the experts. I do follow a chemist, like a skincare makeup chemist and hair chemist on Instagram, and a few other actual experts. And what I've taken away from that is wash your face every morning and every night. Always wash your makeup off. Sunscreen. If you do not know where to start with like any skincare, wash your face, put on a moisturizer that you don't hate, and sunscreen. If you want to be a bit more advanced, I would say add retinol at night and probably start slow. Like,
okay. Yep.
There's a few brands I like, but I think everyone's skin's different, right? I don't believe that there's like one brand that everybody has to get. I think it's more about like the ingredient. You're in your late 20s, early 30s, start with your retinol and like do it slow. Try like twice a week and see if you could add it 3-4 times a week. And
what's your main skincare issues for both of you?
Issues?
Like, what is the main thing? The main issue that you would have with your skin is what? Like dryness, redness. Like for me, I get breakouts like this. I get breakouts really easily. So I have to have something that I put on that combats that.
Mm-hmm.
And I get oily skin. I don't have dry skin. I have the opposite problem.
For me, it's about like my skin being different colors on my face.
Pigmentation.
I want to say this like on the podcast.
It's just hyperpigmentation.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I had that issue before. Like I was always looking for like brightening, something that would like I feel like I have discoloration on my skin, but now I'm just looking for anything that kind of gives me a bit of a glow. I'm mostly looking for like maintenance and prevention. Let's not make my skin worse than how it is. And then when I got pregnant, I got really bad eczema. Like first it was on my hands and then it was like all over my eyes and like my neck and like around my nose. And so I had to cut out like vitamin C completely every time I tested it out for a while to figure out what it was.
Vitamin C?
Vitamin C, like topical
Serum.
vitamin C.
Yeah, no,
like,
I know.
No, not like.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, anytime I would use a product with vitamin C and I tried different ones, I would see my eczema come back and I would get the irritation.
Even when you use like, have you tried like the top brands?
I did.
Okay.
I didn't try SkinCeuticals. I tried a bunch from, not a bunch. I tried 2 or 3 different ones from The Ordinary. I tried the actual ones and then the like.
I feel like Ordinary is not that good though, right?
No, it's not. But they have a really strong one, and then they have ones that aren't direct vitamin C. And so I thought those are usually really good for sensitive skin. I still broke out. And then I tried one. I tried Ole Erickson. I tried that Timeless one that's supposed to be a dupe for SkinCeuticals.
Oh, really? Timeless?
Yeah. And I ended up having to throw out the entire bottle. I should have given it to one of you guys, but
yeah.
Yeah, there were like a bunch that I tried. Every time I tried it, it didn't work. So I keep it pretty simple now. Like my skin can handle retinol. I exfoliate, I don't know, 3 times a week, maybe. I use one of those pads and I just stay away from my eyes. But I mean, nothing special. Really nothing special.
So you don't use vitamin C till now?
No, I don't. I don't want to take a chance because once I get an eczema breakout, it takes like 2 weeks to get back, and it's just me slathering on Aquaphor.
You don't eat it. Yeah, you don't eat it.
Yeah, you
don't
have
eat
great skin.
Yeah,
like I used to be this big believer. You have to have vitamin C in the morning. You have to have retinol at night. You have to be like doing all this stuff and buying really expensive moisturizers. And that Maximum Skin guy changed my entire perspective on that because he was saying things like medical grade or like, what do you guys use at the spa or at salons, Tiana?
There's different brands. There's one that starts with an A.
But what do you guys call it? You call it medical grade or
medical grade skincare? Yeah, medical grade skincare.
Yeah, that doesn't exist. He basically debunked it. There's nothing that regulates that term. And so once I knew that, I realized, okay, everyone's just trying to sell their products. Like, let's look for ingredients or things that work with my skin. Like, let's stop spending. And, I don't think there's enough. You could spend like hundreds and thousands on skincare. I don't think that will do as much as if you invest that in like Botox. You know what I mean? And filler. I think you really want to get rid of wrinkles. That's the way you're going to go.
And so it's something you have to keep up too.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's go simple on the skincare and then save some money and invest it later on Botox if you really want to like prevent like these lines or something like that. But that's where you're the expert, right, Tiana?
Yeah, no, I think as women, I feel like we really care about what we look like, obviously a lot, and we want to look good for our partners too, right? But I have a question for you guys. I really don't want to know what you think. Would you want to hear the worst thing your partner said about you? Would you ever hear?
Said about me to who? What do you mean said
I've
about
probably
me?
heard it.
Or thought about me?
One of their friends. No. Okay. Fine. We could say what they thought about you, or when speaking to their friend, the worst things that they said about you. Would you want to hear it?
I think honestly with my partner, I think he's more likely to say those things to my face than to say to them to other people behind my back.
The worst thing?
Yeah. He's not the type to go and tell other people about, like, he's not going to go complain about me to other people.
Okay, sorry. That's on the top. What about think? Okay, because I don't want to make it seem as if like he's talking about you to other people. But
I think that could ruin a relationship. I think knowing the worst thing, because first, the worst thing that you've thought of somebody changes, especially if you're mad. Do you know what I mean? Like, I've thought horrible things about people I'm mad at. I don't see how that helps. Like, there's a desire to know. And yes, I want to know. Like, what do you really think? I want to know. But I don't see how that could help a relationship. Unless it's like positive criticism or
I don't think I'd be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised. There's nothing he could say that would surprise me.
What about you, Tiana?
Say or think?
Yeah.
Or think?
Would you want to know, and do you think it would help?
Thoughts I don't want to hear. I don't want to hear people's internal monologue. But you said what they would say to another person. That's different.
Would you want to hear the worst thing your partner said about you?
Yeah, I don't
think my partner said anything bad about me. Like really bad. My partner, my husband. I don't think he said anything really bad about me.
Okay, so it's not, they probably haven't, but the question is whether or not you would want to hear it.
Do you want to hear it?
Me? The answer is no, absolutely not. Which is funny because a couple of weeks ago, I overheard my husband saying something, and I'm sure to him that was like he was speaking to someone else, but I don't think it was. It's not. I'm not going to mention it, but it wasn't an insult. It wasn't actually anything bad. But I was like, oh, like I took it as like something, not nice. But that was me overthinking it. But
okay, let me reverse the question.
Okay.
Would you want your husband to know the worst thing you have said or thought about them?
No. No, right?
Exactly. Like, I don't think there's any good that could come of it.
That's true.
I agree with that. I don't see the purpose. I don't see how that would help anything or anybody. But like, even if I did hear it, I don't think it would be like what I'm trying to think of. What's the worst thing you could say about me? Like, what's the worst possible? I'm trying to think. Like, give me an example of the worst thing your partner could ever say about you. What? I smell. I'm stupid. I'm ugly. What could they say?
No, it could be things like they think you're stupid. Like, it could be hurtful things too.
Yeah,
it wouldn't bother me.
They don't trust your opinion. Like, those are things that could hurt. Like, if I knew someone said that about me, someone I cared about, not like someone, I wouldn't be able to stop thinking about it.
I know my husband. And I know what he actually thinks about me. So I know that if he said anything really hurtful, it would be out of emotion in the heat of the moment. He probably wouldn't mean it. So, because I know him, I've been with him for 20 years now. So he said all the hurtful things that he could have possibly said, I've heard them. And vice versa, I've said hurtful things to him. And I think that we know each other enough to know that those moments are not the defining moments of who we are or our relationship. So for me, I willingly want to sit down and hear all the horrible things? No, no, that doesn't interest me. But if I heard them, would that be devastating to my relationship and I wouldn't be able to be married to him anymore? No, that probably wouldn't.
Not even for a little bit. Not even for.
I mean, it would hurt. It sucks. But I bet you I've heard it all. I bet you I already know. I bet I already. This is gonna sound really horrible. I don't know if I will want to air this. But I think I'm my worst critic. I think I'm much harder on myself than anybody in this world could ever be.
I think most people are, though.
So that in that case, then whatever they say to you is nothing. So for me, if he says you're stupid, you're ugly, you're fat, you're dumb, you're whatever, I'd be like, these are all things I've already thought about myself to myself. That you're not telling me anything I don't know. I wouldn't I'd be like, okay, you thought that at one point in your life. I don't think you think that now, or you wouldn't be with me. I don't know. It doesn't hit me the same way, I guess, because I know he doesn't think that now. And if you were to tell me he thinks that of you now and he's just not telling you, that would be different. But if you're like in the span of 20 years, do you want to hear something he said about you 20 years ago that was bad? Like, not really, but that doesn't I don't think that's going to affect my life today. Yeah. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Yeah. I think overall, for me, and probably for you guys, I know more you're basically saying you've heard it all, so it doesn't matter. This is essentially what you're saying. But I think nobody really wants to hear anybody talk bad about them at the end of the day. Of course. Especially not their partner who is their partner, their life
Tell
partner.
me all the good stuff. I want to know all the good stuff he's
saying. You don't want to hear anything bad.
Yeah,
so.
For sure.
I actually think we probably don't know all the good stuff our partners think of us or say of us.
Yeah.
I agree with that. I don't think it's communicated that much. So I think most people, when you're really comfortable with your partner, it's it gets, unless you have that kind of relationship, but most of you, you're it gets awkward. You're not just going to go up to them your butt looks really good today. I'm going to say that.
You're so focused on the physical stuff, Maureen.
I'm trying to think of examples and it's just not coming. I'm oh, you
is there something you want to tell your spouse today? You want to tell him you think his butt looks cute?
No, I try to tell my husband that oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate you. That's what I tell him usually. I really appreciate what you're doing for us, and I see you. I see you. I see the work you're doing, and that's usually what I say. But things oh, because men are like that, men need that physical validation too. Maybe women don't need it as much, but men want to feel wanted, and women want to feel wanted too, right? Who doesn't? So I think telling them you look good, or you smell good, or you're so funny, or you're so smart, or you're so what? What do you say? Tell me an example of something you would say to your partner, realistically.
I don't think I'm nice enough. I actually don't think I'm nice enough. I don't think. With you guys, or someone you don't see every week, every day, you're probably more likely to bring up all the good things you see about them. But when you live with someone, there's this constant I can't stand you. You're really pissing me off. I love you so much. Let's make sure we die at the same time together. It's your feelings are always so up and down.
So what would you guys say? What would you say right now to your partner? What's something nice that you would say to them right now that you think you know what? I feel this is something they should know. If I died tomorrow.
Tiana's already laughing. What is this uncomfortable?
I'm laughing because this is a really personal thing. I don't think I can be telling the world this is what I.
Yeah, okay, let's move on. Tiana, you had another question.
It can be general. It's just something kind. You don't have to say something sexual or anything. Just be something.
I will be honest. I think I hype my husband up every single day.
Good for you.
And there's things that I say that I know will make him feel good.
So I'll leave it there. These things that I say. Okay, I got you. I got you. I understand what you're saying. That's good. That's awesome.
But I have a question for you guys. Obviously, we're all married. But before doing things like cutting your hair or dyeing your hair or whatever, do you ask for permission from hubby? No. So before cutting your hair, if you wanted to cut your hair,
I may inform him I'm going to cut my hair today, but I will book the appointment. I will have thought everything out, And then like it not
So
out of
what
spite,
if your
it won't cross
husband
my
does
mind.
not like short hair?
My husband likes everything I do. Oh, yeah. Is that really like cocky to say? It's true.
No,
like
that's not cocky.
Like, I remember, so like I had a lot, like my hair was like pretty long before, and then I chopped it off like pretty short. And I told him, do you think I should? He's like, if you want to. Like, there was no, I don't have that type of husband. Like, I'm not married to that type of guy that like says, no, you would look better with this. You should do this. Like, have you thought of coloring your hair this way? Have you thought of doing your nails like that? Like, that's not the guy that I'm married to. There are, like, my dad was probably one of those guys, because like, who cared, like, not cared, was interested in these things. I should say, like, my dad cared when I cut my hair. He cared, like, he wanted to see my new haircut. He cared, like, about what color I do it, but I still never asked him for permission. So I wouldn't ask my husband.
Did he want to see you, like, if your hair was long, would he? I mean, we're talking about your dad, so that's different. Like, I feel like dad, it's a different story. But like,
yeah,
you know, like if your hair was long, would he want you to go bald? You know what I mean? Like, would he be okay with you going like a bob? Like,
yeah, I think Mo would be. Oh, do we not say our spouses' names on this?
We don't usually say it, but it's okay. Like, you can.
No, I think he would be. I don't think he
You
would.
can say your spouse's name. We had our spouses on an episode.
Mm-hmm.
Remember?
That's
Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. No. I would not ask him because I don't truly think he cares. Maybe if it was something that I was doing that I thought he cared about, I would. But no. What about you?
Your hair to make changes to your, like, your appearance, it wouldn't matter.
No. Again, but if, let's say, I thought it didn't matter and then he came out and told me it did, that would be different. We'd have to discuss it. But no. What about you?
Me?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
do you get permission?
No.
You think he cares?
I don't know if he cares, but I have a very vocal husband, so he will say how he feels. Like, if I
see that.
If it looks like a certain way, he'll just be honest. Like, he's not going to sugarcoat it. He'll be like, yeah, that doesn't look good, or whatever. Like, you know what I mean? But it's not like I'm asking for permission to make changes to.
But your husband notices things. Again, he's interested in things like that. Like, I think your husband would probably notice,
like, yes, but not like.
Like, I think he would notice more. Like, let's say on the same day I did something, like I cut my hair or whatever, dyed it or something. I think your husband might notice before my husband would notice that I did that to myself.
Possibly. Because he does pay attention to certain things. Like, yeah.
I don't think your husband would notice, Maureen.
My husband generally is very, like, not involved in those kind of things. But I have heard him on, like, I think 2 occasions tell me, like, if I really don't look good, or okay, let me say it this way. One time I had my hair up like this, and that was the only time he's like, Maureen, I don't like that. Don't do that. I'm like,
that's
okay,
cute.
why that? He wasn't into that, but whatever. Okay. And the only other time I will hear something, a vocalization from him, is if he feels that what I'm wearing is too scandalous. Like, he'll be like, are you good? Isn't that skirt a little short? Aren't those shorts a little short? Things like that. That's the only time I'll hear. And usually if I say no or whatever, I'm still going to wear it. It's nothing you can do about it, right? But that's the only time I'll ever hear him vocalize. But generally speaking, he's more concerned about what he looks like. He's more like, do I look good? How do I look? He's not really paying attention to what I'm doing. You know? Yeah. Yeah, that's how he is. He's just
I mean,
his mind is on bigger things, like those things.
He doesn't care what you do to your hair or what you do to your appearance. He's like, yeah, whatever you want to do, you're good.
He likes it both ways, but it's not a be all end all. It's not something he'll vocalize. It's not.
You don't have that for permission to change your hair color. If you wanted to go like pixie, like, or no, like go bald or whatever, like you completely shave your head, would you think that he would have a problem with it? Should you have asked him first if you end up doing it?
I think everybody would have a problem with it.
Shaving my head,
to shave your head completely, that's a big thing. That's not like, and that's an abnormal thing. That's not a common thing you get when you go get a haircut. you know?
It's like if would I have an issue if he started wearing like a shoulder length wig, I might have an issue with that. I might be like, I'm not really into that. But would I like not love him or what? No, of course not. It's just that, yeah, I mean, everybody has a little bit of a preference of, what kind of things that they find beautiful or attractive. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But he's not controlling. He doesn't tell me do this, do that. He doesn't do that. So, yeah.
Okay.
He and I have a very unique relationship because my friend Janice messaged me. She's like, "Hey, you just had your 10-year wedding anniversary last month. What did you do?" And I was like, "Yeah, we both forgot." We had our 10-year
wedding. Do you guys do anniversary gifts?
We forgot. No, we did nothing. The whole day just went by. We didn't remember.
Happy 10-year anniversary.
Yeah, when's your anniversary? 10-year anniversary.
What day was it?
Wedding anniversary.
Wedding anniversary.
December
14. December 14, the day after my birthday. Yeah. And we just forgot. Both of us forgot. We do. That's how we work really well together. Neither one of us has a ring because we can't. We lose them. This is why we work really well together. We don't care. Like there's little things that we just don't. It just doesn't. Like I guess we're unconventional in that way. Those things that matter so much to so many people, they don't matter to us.
To each their own.
Yeah.
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 All right. That was cool. It sounds like we all have really great husbands that are not controlling and that love us as we are.
Thank God. All right, guys.
All right.
Thank you guys so much. We had a really great time. Unfortunately, Shauna's internet went out because of the snowstorm. Mine cut in and out, but hopefully after post-editing, you guys won't see that. And before we go, I just wanted to remind everybody out there to follow Sandra on Instagram at Sandra Ayad. She's a realtor in Toronto, so hit her up with any questions, whatever. If you're looking for a house, you're looking to sell a house, anything you want to know in that vicinity, hit her up on Instagram. The other thing that you need to do is check us out on TikTok and check us out here on YouTube. Make sure you're subscribed to this channel because every subscription helps these videos get out further. It helps our channel grow and it just helps us out. Just that one little click. So please help us out and make sure you press that subscribe button. And what else did I say? Oh, yes. Email us any questions, comments, anything you want to say.
Hit us up on TikTok or Instagram if there's anything you want us to talk about. Or if you want to correct us on anything that we've said today. Or if you want to talk about aliens.
We love hearing from you. We love hearing from the audience and the people who watch us. So please don't hesitate to message us. Thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you, Sandra, for coming on.
Yeah, thank you, Sandra.
This was fun. Have me on again. I would love to do this again.
You know what? We might do like a couples thing. And you and your significant other.
Yeah, we'll see if he would be down to do that.
We should.
Just what are we going to do with the kids? That's the problem. It has to be at like this.
Aren't they asleep right now?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
So there you go. Yeah, put them to bed and then go. Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right, guys, this was fun. It's way past my bedtime now. It's 10:30. That is way past my bedtime.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. Have a good
night. Bye.